Also something we're looking out for in today's election is the COVID-19 protocol
Yeah.
being managed at the polling center. I think it was Fidel who said he got into Benin, and the first impression he got was that COVID-19 had been eradicated from
Yeah,
from
but
Edo
it was
State.
same with Lagos. Same, I mean, everywhere you go. I mean, it's as if there was never COVID-19. And I would assume that the announced numbers by NDDC
Yes.
contributed to this. So people could see with the daily tracking online, with the numbers, infection numbers released, that the numbers were dropping. So everyone felt, oh, yeah, so if the numbers are dropping, what's there to fear? It's gone. I mean, I saw foreign media doing reports on why COVID-19 didn't spread so much in Africa.
Yeah.
I saw a report that said, could poverty be...
Yeah, I saw the report on BBC.
Could poverty be the reason why there's... gosh. So I think people have this, I won't call it false relief, but there's this idea that it's not that bad, So, I mean, with 1.7 million voters today, we're going to really have to see how INEC would rock this boat. Would we have hand water to wash hand at the like we do at our office here? Before you come in, you wash your hands. You have to wear a mask. Would we see all of those things, or would we have sanitizers? Were provisions made for those things? I doubt, but I mean, the day is still young.
Yes, very true. Interestingly, he said when he got in, he saw a number of prospective voters with their face masks on, which he said he was happy about that. It wasn't what he saw at Ring Road when he moved, to and fro to the INEC headquarters in Benin. And then he also, when we spoke with, I think, Nick Dazang, the INEC Director of Voter Education and Publicity on Public Square yesterday, he said that they would have the polling areas decontaminated first before the voting starts, and then they will disinfect the card reader again and again, and then people will be moved in batches in two groups. One group will go in, they will vote, then another group will go in again, they will vote. So, they've created an area so that they can have social distancing happen during voting. And they said also, too, that because of this, they may have extension in voting, but anyone who is on the queue by 2:30 will be allowed to vote, whether or not the time has ended. So the important thing is that people be on the queue by 2:30.
Right.
But even if it gets out to 5 p.m., 6 p.m., they'll make sure they can go ahead.
I'm imagining that they might have to stay later. I mean, COVID-19 has changed a lot of things.
Yes.
You want to be careful what you're touching, who has touched it. And I hope that even the INEC staff would also be safe today. They bear in mind that there is COVID-19 and everyone just has to be as protective of themselves as possible. I want to see where, pens are not shared. You have enough pens on the table for the people. If possible, you sanitize your hands before using the card reader. Those are protocols I would like to see today.
Yes.
I hope that all of those are in place.
Yeah.
Remember that we're live on Facebook and YouTube, Nigeria Info 99.3. Just do a search now. You can join us and let's know your thoughts on our conversation today. We're also on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Leave us your comment. If you are on Twitter, I mean, the trending hashtag now certainly is Edo decides. Edo, I even saw Edo is not Lagos. I mean, it's also very interesting hashtags. Edo 2020, Edo election. It's all trending this morning. That's the talk of the nation today.
Yes. Another thing where more people are talking about, which I've seen a number of questions. By the way, you can join us on WhatsApp. We're online WhatsApp all through 0809 597 5805 if you want to contribute or put in questions and comments. Is the ZPAD, or what is being called the INEC, if you go on the INEC website where the results are going to be uploaded in real time.
Yes.
It's just
For the first time.
Yeah, transparency, they say, but it's not going to be used as a collation tool, which means it may not be used in court because it's not backed by law. Yet, exactly. So that's something I think we will have to look at also too, how it's going to impact the process. People are saying, I hope they don't hack anything, at the end of the day.
But it will help because we will then have there's a referral, there's a reference you can go to, so you can compare the numbers. I mean, at the end of the day, but like you said, you can't even take that to court. You can't say, I mean, it's prone to errors. If you would say, you can't say, so INEC put this on the platform. I'm going to go to, like the former presidential candidate in the last election did, Atiku, was trying to base his argument on the fact that there was a server. Remember, the server issue was pretty hot. So I'm looking at the possibility of having that challenge again, although INEC has made it clear it's not. I mean, you can't refer to that. We're just putting it there.
Yes. But I just think it's going to be embarrassing if
if the numbers don't tally.
Exactly. So they put out the picture there, so everyone has gone and looked at this local government, Ovia local government, for example, and then the rest of the electoral commissioner says, okay, let the polling, the rack for that local government area, electoral officer for that local government come and announce the result, and he comes and he reads something else, and everybody goes,
But that's different from what we say. I mean, I just imagine how,
All right.
But so you guys see that we're set for a very interesting day today on the show.
Yes. So now we have joined us in the studio. Great to have Kenny Okolugbo, who is a former commissioner of Delta State Oil Producing Area Development Commission. He was also commissioner during James Tibori's governorship in Delta State. Sorry, Uduagan, Emmanuel. I don't know why I keep mixing up. Emmanuel Uduagan's position in Delta State. So great to have you, Kenny Okolugbo, join us this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Excellent.
Okay, can you bend that microphone a bit?
Okay,
yes.
that's fine.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's good to have you here.
TV all the time, eh?
Welcome to the show. So let's start off with the preparation so far. I mean, I woke up in the midnight to a tweet by a popular person on social media who said he had just gone off the phone with Governor Wike of Rivers State, who had told him that he was besieged by policemen at his hotel room. The papers also have it this morning about PDP governors from other states who are in Edo State today to show solidarity, being asked to leave Edo State by the police, allegedly, according to report. We're not in Edo State. What do you make of this? Do you think, questions have been, what are they also doing there? Don't they have their own states to govern? What's your thought?
Well, if you have to look at it from different perspectives. First of all, Governor Wike is in Edo State because he's the chairman of the PDP National Campaign Council. And you have what you call election monitoring. Yes, you have your agents. Don't forget that everybody is entitled to an agent to monitor the 192 wards of Edo State. But he's not the only governor in Edo State. You have Governor Ganduje. You also have Governor Hopu Zodimma, who have all come in terms of solidarity. There are no movements. Movements are restricted. And we have also been told that all the politicians, they have instructed that their aides, their policemen should be withdrawn. But you expect that a governor who is the chairman of a campaign council should be able to monitor the elections. They all have tags. And they are citizens that you can easily identify. They are not going to vote. But it's just to ensure that we have free, fair, and credible elections. Looking at it holistically, like in Bielsa, I was a spokesman for the PDP campaign council. I know how we're apprehensive for those elections. Those elections have gone down in history as one of the worst elections I've held on in Nigeria. And you can see what the reactions have been. I wasn't in Kogi, but I heard what happened in Kogi. And you can see that today we have the United States of America and United Kingdom helping us to instill discipline in our electoral
let's
system.
talk about that. I'm not sure if they're helping us to instill anything.
That is exactly
they're threatening to help us.
But it's not about threatening. It's a shame that we now have politicians being denied visas and their assets being threatened. It's their assets they threaten. They've actually implemented the visa ban. And we know
not
the names.
Politicians.
No, we know the names of these politicians.
Them?
I don't want to name them. I don't want to name them. I can't name them. Since the embassies have not named them, I will not name them. But we know these politicians. We have their names. We have all their details.
Oh, you know them.
Oh, 100% we do.
I see.
So, I mean, when they have actually banned them from entering their countries, it's what it tells us is, looking at both ways, I'm not holding brief for just the PDP. I'm looking at the PDP and the APC. They're both guilty of rigging when it comes to any electoral process. And the only way you can get an electoral process free and fair is for the Independent National Electoral Commission to be truly independent in every ramifications. No election is perfect. We all know. But we must also have a semblance of perfection.
Let me take you back to the governor issue. So you mentioned that, they need to monitor the elections. However, every party has got their monitoring agents. They are registered with INEC. I'm not sure these governors are registered as monitoring agents. They won't be at the polling units. Why can't they? I'm not speaking for one party. All the parties that have governors from other states therein. My question is, don't they have a busy work schedule? Don't they have other things they need to attend to in their states? Can't they monitor from there? Why do they need to be there? Don't you think that heats up, the environment, the polity?
Well, I will concede to you very well. You're very correct. None of the governors have permission from INEC to monitor the elections. That's true. None of them have been accredited to monitor the elections.
Right.
But the truth about it is, when you see that there are governors from the opposite party and they're in the state, and you're also a chairman of a campaign council, it's like two opposing forces balancing each other. It's also a game of psychology, because one, nobody has had this kind of, the run-up to the elections, I don't think there's been any state that has gotten this kind of controversy. Don't forget that the immediate past chairman
there have been Ekiti State.
No, the immediate past chairman of the APC, who just lost his position due to the intricacies of what has happened to the build-up to the election, is from the state. And don't forget too that these governors, some of them have sympathy to his cause, because a lot of them has also been done favors by him. And it's like payback time for us to at least help you pull off this shame from you, sort of, at least by making sure that you deliver Edo State. And so because of this pressure, that was what has negated this principle of allowing just our field monitors, agents to monitor the elections. Let us be there. At least as a governor, you cannot arrest me. If I see that somebody is cheating, I'll be able to call. I'll be able to monitor this local government. So all the governors have distributed themselves around each federal constituency.
But that's wrong. That's wrong.
I can accept what you have said, and I conceded that it is not normal. But it's an unusual situation, so maybe you could call it doctrine of necessity.
Tell me something also, Kenny.
Yes.
You're from the Niger Delta, so you see and know how the politics has worked for a number of election cycles. One of the greatest concerns people have talked about in the run-up to this poll has been the fear of violence. Report after report have highlighted what they call hotspots for them to look out for. And they've oftentimes linked politicians to the violence because they're the ones who are arming the thugs. It is in their interest. Those fights have happened many times in this turf war. What do you say? 31,000 policemen. Our correspondent there, Fidel Segale, says he's moving around town. He sees trucks of armed soldiers coming in there. And it's in between two sides' opinion, whether the policemen there and the soldiers have assured them that they are safe at the ballot, or whether it is intimidation to see those numbers of policemen. Someone said, never in the history of Edo State have they seen the sort of armed presence they see there. What are your thoughts on this one?
No, but there's what is called show of force. And so what the police and the army is doing is show of force. That is to send a message, a clear message to the would-be troublemakers. So to act as a deterrent that, look, we are in town, we are here.
We're here.
Do you understand? So I have no problems with that. That is a normal way to do it. In fact, all the likely flashpoints, what is usually done, the security reports will show them that these are the likely flashpoints. These are the areas that we most likely will have trouble. They will come. In fact, sometimes they stay in front of some people's gates, not because they're denying them their right, but for them to go and vote and come back and know that, look, we are at your gates. Do you understand?
Like
you know yourself.
Our eyes are
on you. You understand that kind of a thing.
Right.
It's not that they have to go into your house to come and start intimidating you or to start ransacking your house, but the positioning of such security agents in those strategic positions would help a lot to guarantee peace during the elections.
And peace is what I hear people talk about in the run-up to these elections. One other point too, we've had discussions with, and I see a lot of questions have come in since yesterday when we began discussions in earnest about the election, has been transparency. Ever since 1999, the Fourth Republic, the problem has often been with the adding of the numbers at the collation center. So INEC has come up with the Z part. It is not the litmus test for them. They say they tried this out in Nasarawa State during the by-election that happened. So they say that they hope that this would add a layer of transparency to the process. When the result is announced at the polling unit, the polling officer will enter electronically the number. We'll send a picture of what has happened at that polling center, so we can all go to the INEC website and INEC website rather, and portal rather, and see what the result looks like. Easy on the eye, people have said, but do you think this helps us a little bit in terms of what happens at collation?
But you know that natural constituency was a very small constituency, so you just can't use that to judge what will happen in Edo. They were supposed to have been doing this even before at the 2019 elections, general elections. Yes, it will help if it is implemented strictly, but don't forget that politicians, we only rig where we are popular. And you know what that means? What that means is that you can't rig where you are not popular. So if you are still going to want to rig, we have a situation where people can buy votes. We have situations where people can buy out agents, and they just fill in those results and they transmit it. And you're not going to be able to tell what has happened in each of those units. The best way to guide against election rigging or manipulation or change of figures, first, one antidote is for the voters to actually come out en masse. Because if you have in a unit, for example, 500 voters and 50 turns up, you're giving them room to manipulate 450.
Yeah.
For a corrupt INEC official, he can add like 300-400 votes to the APC or to the PDP.
Because the people who should have used them didn't show up.
Didn't turn up. And so that was another thing that people were afraid of, that a lot of the older women, a lot of the older men, when they saw the show of force yesterday, they became scared. They became skeptical. And most of them might not show up. And INEC has not done enough in terms of voters' education. Because they do this on radio, they do this on television. But we know we're not yet we're not like the global world, where this, in fact, it's only now we're becoming internet savvy. A lot of people didn't know about Facebook, didn't know about WhatsApp, didn't know about other ways of transmitting information other than the town criers telling them the truth by the time you go to the nook and cranny of the wards and telling them that this is what you need to do. I don't think INEC even employed town criers in this election, not to my knowledge, because we are closely monitoring what is happening in Edo State. So if you do not send this message across and tell them not to be afraid and come out and exercise their civic right, a lot of them might just stay back at home and just be nonchalant, especially when they have this opinion that, look, whatever I even do, at the end of the day,
it might not count.
That's exactly what I was just trying to say.
We need to head up for a break shortly, but I mean, if you take a look at the candidates in this election, by the way, in Nigeria, there aren't just two candidates in the election, but for most of our elections in the past years in Nigeria, I mean, we talk about just two. I mean, two of the candidates. There are very interesting candidates on the lineup today, so I'd like us to talk about them. There's a lady that really caught my interest. There are two females, by the way. Yes, one of them is a Nollywood rather, actress. She's an actress. She's a film producer. She's from Uromi in Esso, Northeast local government area. She's a Mabel Akomo Oboh.
No relationship with me.
Good.
No, but she didn't show up for the debate, though. She didn't show up for the
You got the cue, yeah. She's 56 years old. That's a 36-year-old candidate from ADP. He's a boy, Lucky Manuel. He says he's in the race to test his popularity. I found that pretty interesting.
Well, the thing about it is, like you rightly said, there are two front runners because we have two parties that are domineering.
Yes.
But you can't test your popularity when you don't have your presence in every ward. Why is it that the PDP and APC they've been dominating the electoral scene? It's because they have their presence in every ward in this federation. You know, we have 192 wards. For example, maybe what you talked about, who incidentally is from the former leader of the party's ward, the late Chief Tony Aneni in Uromi, is from Uromi. But how many people know her in Uromi, where she comes from? Talk less of somewhere like Aghogho or Igwebe or Ikpoboha or Egon or Orionwo. You understand where I'm coming from? So who is going to be able to... Elections require money. I won't lie to you.
Exactly.
I'm a politician. I know how much I spent the first time I tried to run for office.
Right.
You need to have agents. You need to pay those agents. Okay, let's just assume that you have 192 agents in the ward. You can't have 192 because a ward has units. An average of 10 units are in a ward. So we are talking about 1,900 and something units.
Wow.
So each unit must have an agent.
Right.
There are some wards that are 15 units. Like my ward, for example, is 15 units. I know of one ward in Ikpoboha that is 15 units. So if you pay them 1,000 naira a day,
And you want
And
them
you
to
all
campaign
know-
for long.
Not even campaign for them to monitor your votes.
Yeah.
This
I
is
mean,
just
you need to
monitoring.
also just
Yes,
monitoring.
for today, what is 1,000 naira? They can buy them for 5,000 naira. And that your 1,000 becomes tissue paper. Now, times 1,000 by 1,900 people. Where will Mabel find that kind of money? How will she be? Look, so we try to face realities. Yes, they want to test their popularity, but you see, we need to grow.
Right.
That is where we must have INEC help the political parties too. Because if voters' education is carried out, the names of all these people running would also
Be on the table.
that is it.
Let's
And
set
so
up for a
all
break.
their names should go around the words.
Let's go on a break. I'm sure if you go onto Twitter now, we're going to Twitter to take some comments when we come back. We're talking mostly about these two parties. I mean, remember we did a heavy election coverage for the 2019 elections. Again, two names were domineering. I'm looking forward to a time where we can have ample conversations about all the candidates if they do have a chance, you know, in the election. Unfortunately, like I said, that's not our reality now.
Absolutely. So let's take a quick break and we'll come back to Nigeria Info's election coverage studio. Kenny Okolubo still with us. We still have Fidel Osegali in Benin and there's still David Daniel. So a lot for us to look forward to when we come back. Let's talk.
Nigeria Info Election Studio. We'll be right back. This is Nigeria Info Election Studio.
Welcome back, 99.3 Nigeria Info. It's election day, not in Lagos, but in Edo State. It's getting pretty interesting now. I mean, it's 28 minutes before 10, so you can imagine that the day is getting warmer. The sun is up as it goes higher in the sky.
Absolutely.
The heat also
Even
rises.
though it did rain, I think, I don't know how long it rained. I just woke up and saw water everywhere.
Yeah, I think it
on
was
the
at
street.
dawn. It was at dawn. Or was it midnight?
I've
I don't
not-
know. I mean, once we log out, we log out.
All right.
Welcome back, Nigeria, at Election Coverage Studio. I am Wemimo Adewuni.
And I'm Aghogho Oboh. And we have Kenny Okolugbo, who is the former commissioner of Delta State Oil Producing Area Development Commission for Ndokwa. Great to have you still with us.
My pleasure.
All right. And Kenny was also still a commissioner under the administration of Emmanuel Duagan, former governor of Delta State.
Right.
Fidel Osegale is still buzzing me when he'll be ready to update us on what is happening in Edo, where polling has begun in the 18 local government areas, 2,600. When he spoke with us earlier, he said it's seen huge turnout of people, and he said he's wagered on whether the magic number of 650,000 turnout will be beaten this year, and he thinks it's possible going by what he's seen around major areas in Benin, the Edo State capital. We'll open the phone line soon so we can just get a feel of what you think is going on about the elections in Edo State.
No, but some of the materials are
Kenny,
still
right.
not in some places.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not everywhere.
Not
I'm
everywhere.
getting my information as I'm here from members of my
You know,
party.
it's on my tongue to say
Members
as
of my
usual.
party, yeah. Some of the materials are not getting. Some of the materials have left. You know, the sensitive materials left
Yeah, this
early this morning.
morning.
And, you know,
Yeah.
some of the sensitive materials. So we're a bit worried. I don't want to start preempting what is happening right now. But some of the areas, everybody has their areas of strength. But let me just allow your correspondence feed you with what is happening. So some of those materials are not there yet. And we are wondering why
He'll
they're
actually
not there.
tell us about areas.
No,
where he can
Red,
see.
now all the voting has started, but you see, we always don't get carried away by what is happening in Red, because that is the commercial capital,
Yeah.
and the state capital, not only commercial, but everything capital of.
Yeah, so very likely
yes.
things will start early.
They will
there.
start early, things will go normal there, we'll have dry voting. So it's in all those areas
The
where
Netherlands, yeah.
that is where
Right.
we have a consent.
So our eyes are on some 12 local government areas,
13,
13,
Yes,
that
local government
would
areas.
possibly be the
Flashpoint. Yes.
And as I say flashpoint, I tell you, my heart does it. Boom. And I'm sure 31,000 policemen.
Yes.
31,000
But the
policemen.
funny thing is that you will see some policemen looking the other way.
Unfortunately.
We keep experiencing this as politicians. You'll be pointing to them that they are kind of ballot, but they say, hey, wait. And, but I hope that will not be the case today. We just want the Nigerian police force to live above those accusations that they have had. Because if we have actual security in place, there will be no rigging too.
But do you
Because
think that the
they'll be able
police
to
is-
resist those who would come to
So
snatch
that
ballot boxes?
resistance is the
Yes.
issue. Do you think they have the capacity to, for instance, they can take arms, certain meters to the
No,
polling
this is
unit?
an isolated elections. The ones that are staying with the units are the ones that cannot take arms. But outside, you are allowed to hold your AK-47, your GPMG. They're all there. They're allowed to hold their arms to give a backup to the ones inside. In case there is any crisis, then you call on them.
Right. So we hope to see that happen today.
And this is an isolated election. 31,000 policemen.
Right.
It would be a shame if what I'm hearing in some of those areas where materials have not gotten to actually continue that way. Because once materials don't show up, what happens is that they're going to write the election results.
They're going to write the election
That's
results?
exactly what happens. Because, you see, let me tell you how this thing works. It's not hidden. When materials don't show up, the people will wait till a certain time and they will see that the materials didn't show up. Those card readers you are seeing, that's why we say the card readers, if they can actually link it to the headquarters where once accreditation is done, it registers in the INEC server.
Right.
It will really stem this election rigging. They will now do their own accreditation, their own way. They will write the results. And the INEC official who has been compromised to announce it. That's why I keep telling you.
Wait.
If you are popular-
That's big. I mean, you just said
That
that's
is-
a very weighty sentence.
Okay, let me give you an example.
without an election
The
happening-
Supreme Court has said that the elections in Okene, they've passed a verdict on it. But are you not surprised that a political party will have 89,000 votes, and that party will have 600 votes, the two leading parties.
It's possible now.
How possible now? Even just
Maybe the
members.
people like
That is how those margins, that is how those super margins come about. Do you understand where I'm
But
coming
you would
from?
know, right? Because you also
We have an idea, yes, because we could see it. For example, in Nimbe, for example, our agents were not allowed anywhere in Nimbe. They were driven away. And we see, they did not have the wherewithal to stand the force that we saw in Nimbe.
Right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's
sorry.
speak to Nigerians, yeah?
So we'll get some comments. 0700 993 993 993. Remember, when you call in, move away from your device or switch off altogether so that we don't get any interference from the device.
And please stay to 1 minute. So we have a lot of people on the line. Hello, good morning.
Action lady, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Fine. Chief Oboh, morning.
Good morning.
The chief in the house, good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Is he a PDP member?
Yes, I am.
Oh, my God, gentleman to the call.
But in this discussion, it's not a PDP member.
Yeah, it's not a party, it's not a political affiliate on this show.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Oboh,
Yes.
quick one. For me, I will blame INEC. You see what happened in Kogi, right? You know the party that foment trouble in Kogi. Even up to the extent somebody died. Remember the PDP woman leader?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
what
can't
happened?
forget that, right?
Why not sideline this set of troublesome parties? Either PDP or TC, both of them. If you sideline them, you at least...
Oh.
Sorry about that. Do try call back Christopher and better luck. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Friday from Bolere.
Welcome Friday on a Saturday.
Yeah, please. I still want to blame INEC because just like one of the persons said in the studio, they have not done enough to educate the people that their vote counts. In 2050, after the governor election in Lagos State, I made up my mind that I would never vote again. But proved to the last election, the general election, because of the education I got from this station, Nigeria Ifo. Nigeria Ifo were on the ground. They keep on educating us that our vote counts. That is why I made up my mind that I would be voting again. But how many people have the opportunity to listen to Nigeria Ifo? You go to some station today, even when they are owner from Edo State, they are playing music. They are doing other things. They are doing sponsor programs. How many people even listen to radio? That is another point. The INEC should come up with ideas to educate the people. Their vote count. Without that, see, many people, I'm from Edo, I'm from Oboh West. I know what we feel there. Because we believe that no matter how you vote, our vote will not count.
All right, Friday, we hope the vote counts this
do,
time, which is
right.
why the elections are happening. Let's take this one. Hello and good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Anthony.
Welcome, Anthony.
Yeah, the gentleman in your studio is a very perfect politician. He speaks correctly in Edo politics. One thing I want to say, INEC are just deceiving us. Because I'm from Igweben local government. They are telling us that they are going to fumigate a polling center. Which polling center? When we were in primary school, open primary school, they are just trying to increase their budget to take away money. What they're supposed to provide was science sanitizer and face masks.
Yeah.
And these are not here. I'm a polling unit. No sanitizer, no face mask. And they are talking of...
Maybe they shouldn't provide your face mask, but at least sanitizers.
yes.
I said that in the opening, yes.
Yeah,
Are you calling us from Edo? Are you calling us from Edo State?
Yeah, from Edo State.
Are you in Edo State presently?
Yeah, I'm in Edo State present.
What local government are you at?
Said
Local
Igwembe.
government.
Gweben. Oh,
Precise.
okay.
Has voting started?
Yeah. No,
Right.
you have not started. We are waiting for materials.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you
Right.
very much, Anthony. Okay.
Right.
So,
I like
So,
that we got
Aghogho,
someone
did you hear
from
what
around.
I didn't want to name local governments.
Yeah.
Igwebe was one of the local governments I was told materials have not come. And
Okay.
the strongman of Igwebe is Tommy Kimi, who happens to be a member of the PDP. So we are looking at, the truth is, we just want free and fair elections. So those areas of strength, if you look at the time now, he has called us from Igwebe, it's almost 10. Materials have not gotten there. Voting is supposed to stop at 3.
No, they won't stop at 3.
No,
what
when
INEC
you're on the
says-
line,
Yeah, by
But
2:30.
you are allowed to vote.
Yeah. Good.
But by 3, you would see them telling you that no, 2:30, we are supposed to have rounded up. We're giving you 30 minutes more. I'm telling you what we see on ground. It's not the rhetorics they tell us.
So
I'm
we
happy
have
that
a
most
lot-
of the callers are blaming it on INEC. And it's sad that he's in Igwebe, and at this time, voting has not come.
We have a lot to change. I mean, with how elections, are carried out, we have a long way to go. The electoral
long way to go.
reform has a big impact on this. I mean, the server issue, like I mentioned earlier on, was a big issue last year during the elections. We need to digitalize voting. We need to move from, why is it so slow? Why do we need for paper? I mean, the same way I can go online. I mean, let me make a reference to Bibi Niger. The voting is done at the
That's it, with your phone.
with a click of the button. Okay, so if you remember, last year we had a big debate here about what are the possibilities. I mean, even in areas where you don't have internet connection, you have the USSD code. I mean, there are
because they have
alternatives.
everybody on the data. Okay, look at even in America where Trump is complaining so much about the mail-in ballots.
Yes.
Right.
Because we all know about absentee ballots, but they're sending you mails. But to a large extent, you are not going to be able to vote twice.
Yeah, right.
Because,
No, you won't be able
because
to.
once you have sent in that ballot, they would have registered that you have voted, and
Right.
they'll be able to detect if you send in a second ballot.
So you have to protect
large
your
extent,
ballot.
yes.
If someone takes it from you, I mean, it's all gone. So you need to protect
That's the
it.
truth. So if INEC can leave, okay, this is an isolated election. We have how many wrecks? Almost 8 wrecks on ground. Is it not a shame that someone can call in from Igwebe to confirm what I was just telling you, that a lot of materials have not gone around most of the wards already? We have 192 wards. Why would INEC not be able to send materials as early as 8 o'clock to all the 192 wards of Edo State?
Big question. Let me go to Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Odihiyeme Emmanuel says, when they were campaigning, they were gathering in large numbers and caution was thrown to the wind regarding COVID-19. Now that it's time to vote, they are looking for hand sanitizer and keeping distance. So what kind of Nigerians are we? Abba Emmanuel, the people of Edo State should vote for their conscience and who they know can transform the state positively and not who the politicians want them to vote for through the parties. Your vote is a seed you sow in your state to produce good fruit. Arthur says, good morning to you too. Odi Manuel Hieme says, Governor Ganduje is also in Edo State, so why would the police ask Governor Wike to leave? Archbishop Roberts, today's election, may God help us, may the best man win. We hope so too. Thank you for that.
All right. So keep those messages coming in.
Hello,
And now we're on to Fidel Osegali. Fidel Osegali is our correspondent in...
Oh, no.
Oh, we lost connection there, but we'll try and get back to Fidel. But just to point out to what people are saying about the thing about the vote, I also understand in some local government area, I do not, Esako, you're having polling materials arriving late too.
Someone just sent me a tweet on my Twitter at Kenny Okolubo. He says there are still no materials too in Esako.
Interestingly, is the north, which is where Adams
Oshomole
is from.
So I have to agree. That's why I said so.
APC, yes.
Yeah, they said some of the materials are still not
but
there.
Kenny,
And that's where Adams Oshomole is from. So
very,
I think INEC,
it's very,
they really have to up this game. It's a shame,
yeah,
honestly.
But it's very tough politics in Edo, the 3 senatorial districts, Edo North, Edo South, and Edo Central.
Yes.
Where in Edo North, they got the Senate race in 2019.
Yes.
But in the other 2 senatorial districts, it was won by PDP. So it shows also
the
how
thing about Edo politics is that the Central has been loyal to the PDP. I don't know, for some reason, since 1999, they have always voted PDP. In fact, all the senators, all the House of Rep members have been PDP. Maybe because that is Tonya Neni's own area. But Adams Oshomole changed a lot of that dominance of PDP when he came in 2007. He was able to break through, and he got one or 2 House of Assembly seats, which was very unusual. But lately, maybe because of the inter-party crisis they've been having in the APC, that inroads is going to definitely not be there this time around.
Let me ask you a very
because
tough question.
they won all the seats.
Yeah.
To be fair, for the first time, the APC took all the seats in the central area.
Let me
which
ask
was
you,
a big minus.
I'm asking
Which was
you
a big
this.
minus on the PDP.
I said on the
Yes.
show today you're not a politician, but I'm
Yes.
going to ask you a tough question as someone who's had experience as a politician. Let's talk what we call in Nigerian parlance cross-carpeting. I mean, at the beginning of the show, I was practically switching the names of the parties because just a few weeks ago, the crisscrossing was so... I mean, it was almost making us dizzy in the eye. Like, okay, so who's actually... Where are you? Where exactly are you? Do we have political ideology? Someone made a joke I saw online and said a certain party. The current governor, who's also asking for a rerun, Obaseki, was in the APC, had issues with Oshiomhole, didn't get the through the primaries.
They both switched.
They both switched.
POI was in PDP.
He went to APC.
I went to APC.
So-
Oshiomhole was the only one. Sorry, Obaseki now from APC came into PDP.
To PDP.
Are you aware that the PDP is a little to the left? How many people in PDP know what the ideology
No, where
of
are
PDP
they?
is?
So I don't
So
know. I don't
I
know.
agree with you 100%.
If we don't know, if the
there's
people
no
don't know,
political
then you don't have
ideology
it.
in Nigeria.
All right,
Okay,
sorry,
Fidel is here.
Yeah, we got Fidel, I think, now. Hello, Fidel Osegali. Fidel, are you there? Okay.
Please be there.
I don't think he's there yet, but
Okay,
well, yeah,
we'll try.
let's get back into the.
So yeah, here's
No,
where I'm going.
I agree with you.
So what are we
100%.
doing?
What they want is just to get into office.
So here's
They
where
are
I'm
not
going.
interested in what the ideology is.
So here's where I'm going.
Basically,
Is it a possibility? I mean, far-fetched imagination.
Yes.
Let's just think that's possible. Do we then do without the political parties and have independent candidates? Why don't you just market yourself?
You know, one of the things that the Senate is looking at is the issue of independent candidates, and I agree with you. Because when you say independent candidates, at least I was a victim of that cross-carpeting, so I would not lie. I would also indict myself here. But why did I cross-carpet? In 2003, I believed in the politics of the opposition. Great Oboh literally gifted me a ticket of House of Rep when he came to run for the governorship seat in Delta, and I was his House of Rep candidate for the Indokwa area. I was naive. I was young. I was barely 30. What did I know? Of course, I read political science in school, but that's as much I did in terms of theory. But going into the real political, I now saw what it meant to be a politician. And so by the time we got to 2007, I had gone to court. I had lost my case, even at the Court of Appeal. I lost at the Court of Appeal. I was very sad. I'd wasted all my money.
Yeah.
And so I said, no, I'm not going to leave this politics. It's just like Kalu, let me not lie.
So rather than go back home, let me go to...
And I didn't go to PDP immediately. I went to Accord because PDP didn't give me a ticket. And so eventually I found myself in PDP. So what am I trying to say? Is because of what you're saying. If the ideology, if people really have the truth of what ideology is, they'll have their political leanings. You have people that have been Democrats for 80 years.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
only say, look, I'm not voting for Biden because I don't like Biden, but I still remain a Democrat.
Right.
You have Republicans. But here, the minute you don't have your ticket, bakam,
cross to the other side of the road.
Do you understand where I'm coming from?
INEC Live on Twitter, they're telling us what's happening in Edo State. So I'm looking at the INEC Twitter handle. 1 hour ago, they had telling us the polling units 002, 003, and 004 at the OVS Southwest Local Government were set for voting. And they had pictures here of voters and INEC officials there. Also, 2 hours ago, movement of polling units to polling units had Esho. Please call that for me.
Esan.
You are here. So
We have Esan West, we have Esan North, we have Esan Central.
This is Esan Southeast.
Esan Southeast, yes.
As at 7 a.m.
Yes.
They had these here. Also, more recently, 53 minutes ago, Etiti Ward 2, Erodo, Benin City. Oredo,
Yes.
Benin City. Election is yet to begin as the electorate has been waiting for the arrival of personnel and materials. I wonder why INEC is tweeting that their personnel are not yet there.
I'm happy they are. You know why I'm happy? I can't even believe you are reading. I'm trying to see like I get on them and
they've always
that's actually a shame.
So they say they coordinate the election management body. And there are certain stakeholders within that body.
But do you miss Jega for some reason?
No. But
sorry, I'm not supposed to be the anchor here, but I'm wondering.
But this point Jega made also too when he was INEC chair, that they don't control certain aspects of this chain.
Yeah.
The vehicles, for example.
But not for this isolated election. It's a shame. This election is isolated.
So you're saying INEC, for example, should have
no,
their own
if it was 2019,
it was big.
I say it was all over the whole country. But this is isolated. This is Edo State, 18 local governments, 192 wards, and we are still talking about personnel not available and
you know, I compare elections, pardon me, to event planning, and I say
that's the truth.
Yes, I mean, if you can't, you can either do it or you can't do it.
And they had 4 years to plan for this election.
Absolutely. Let me tell you more recently, INEC is also telling us ICCC reporting live. What's ICCC, by the way? I don't know, but they're telling us that Ward 1, polling unit 11, Oredo, local government area. Oredo local government area.
ICC is Immaculate Conception College.
So they're the ones reporting, and INEC is treating them. So they're showing us a video of their workers arriving, setting the table. People are already waiting.
No, but I told you that actually in Oredo, the materials are there already.
Yeah. So
the materials are in Oredo, and voting has commenced already in a couple of places.
So here we go. Let's take a few more calls, shall we?
All right, let's hear what you have to say.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Mark Harry. I'm on the road right now.
Are you driving?
I'm on Alfred.
Okay, all right.
On the road where? What state are you in? Lagos?
Lagos, yes, I'm in
all right,
Lagos.
Good.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. First, let me commend Ken Okolubo. Let me point out that I'm from Delta State, and I've followed not only Nigerian politics, but politics in Delta State, particularly Ken Okolubo. And he's one of the very few politicians who will tell you that, look, in this and this aspect, our party got it wrong. I give that to him. And that's one of the things he has said today, and even gave credit to Adams Oshomale of the opposing party.
Right.
Now, having said that, let me say something about the governors leaving their states with all the busy schedules and going to Edo State.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's true that they have a lot of things to do. It's also true that they are involved in one way or the other in this election that is going on. For instance, the chairman of the campaign committee, PDP, is Wike. The chairman of the campaign committee for APC is Governor Ganduje Okon. They have a stake in it. They are both there, and some other people. Now, why giving order to Wike to leave Edo State? What happens to the other, his counterpart, the APC counterpart? What happens to the other party stakeholders? Why is it that it's only him there asking to leave?
But do you think personally that all the governors...
Some time ago, governors from outside the country, Niger to be specific, came to Nigeria and they didn't see anything wrong in that. Well, like it was said earlier, the problem here with INEC and even the police, why did they not announce it before today or before now that such things that we have condoned before will not be tolerated now? They didn't do that.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Waited for them to come over and they now say, oh, we have an order to escort you out of Edo State. Where is it done?
All right, thank you very much. Okay, all right, thank you so much for calling. Let's go to Twitter. We have a lot of comments there. We're trying to catch up with them. Igiripa347, what a handle you have. Here says, about Edo election, we will always have problems with elections generally if the electoral bill isn't signed into law. I second that motion. I totally agree. It says, I'm tweeting in respect of what happens on some minutes past 2 yesterday. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, you can give more details if you wish. Okay, I think I'm losing your tweet here. Give me a minute. We probably can check WhatsApp, can we?
No, we can't check WhatsApp yet. We have to populate. The messages have crashed the system.
Oh dear.
It's crashed the server.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay, I see some here. Michael from Badagry says, can the results uploaded at the portal be used at the tribunal? If it can be used at the tribunal, then it doesn't make sense. No, it does. It cannot be used at the tribunal. Someone said he just read online that a media van... Okay, that's just an allegation that you can't substantiate. Long message, Shakumaku, he says. The fact remains that what these two candidates, what do you mean? from major political parties have done to gosh. Please read your sentences again so you don't put me in a fix like this. Let me try to understand you. I think you mean that. I think you're asking what these two candidates from the major political parties have done to show that they are credible to make Edo State different. I do not see any good change again in whoever gets into office between the two candidates, because the camp across two parties. Okay, I hope to understand you. I hope I got you. All right, there's another one here. No, I can't read that. Thank you.
Oh, right.
No, thank you.
So
but we're due to go out for a break shortly.
Yeah, we're going to go on a break. We come back, we talk some more. We still got an hour to go.
Yeah.
So this is a time that you stick to reliable, accurate information.
Right.
And when the polling results start, you can always go to INEC's website and not burden us with who is leading or who is not leading.
Yeah.
You'll see it right there.
Or tweet it. You can tweet it. It's your Twitter account. Don't call us to tell us. No, thank you. We'll pass.
Okay, so let's go on a quick break. I'll be back to election coverage studio.
This is Nigeria Info Election Studio. Nigeria Info Election Studio. We'll be right back.
All right, we're trying to connect with Fidel, who's standing by for us in Edo State, giving us live coverage. Certainly not of the whole Edo State, but for local governments that he'll be visiting today. We're trying to connect with him. As soon as we do, we'll bring him on to give us live updates. It's a very interesting day today in Nigeria. We're having what you call staggered elections. I mean, it's an isolated election happening only in Edo State today. And we have candidates that have given us very interesting things to talk about in the past few weeks. Finally, we got him. Fidel, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good to have you on. Fidel is with us in Edo State today. How's it going? Where are you currently?
Currently, I'm at Ward 4 in Motown Grammar School. This is where the governor is expected to vote, talking about the incumbent governor of Obaseki. Voting has started, and the card reader is in use. But those whose cards could not be read by the card reader, the INEC official had to they go back to the voters register to clarify. The system has been fast, and that's basically what's happening right now. People are on the queue trying to exercise their franchise.
What about the COVID-19? I know the contamination and all of that that should happen. Give us an update. How's it happened?
Well, I know we had a chat yesterday, and I told you that as I got into Benin on Thursday, you would have thought that the disease has been totally eradicated. This is the first time I'm really seeing people, many people wearing face masks. But the social distancing policy, that one is not in place at all. People are flouting that. They don't care about social distancing, but they have their masks on. And in all of the wards that I've visited, there's no place where you do your hand washing and washing and what do you call it now? Sterilizing and all of that. That's not happening.
Water was not provided. Hand sanitizers are not available.
No.
INEC officials are not asking people to space themselves.
The only place you have that is maybe it's because that's where the government is going to vote. That's where you have the hand washer outside. At this particular ward.
Oh dear.
Otherwise, every other ward I've visited, nothing like that.
And I assume once the governor is gone, any water that's left, once that one, once it's finished, that's the end of the matter. However, what's the vibes you're getting from the people? Are they calm?
They have defied all of those prophecies. You know, people were really skeptical. People were scared based on reports that it's going to be volatile and all of that. We've not seen any of that so far. I got out of my room at about 6:45 a.m. You see people on the road, on foot, going to their various polling units. The turnout is really massive. People got to the polling units on time. I got to George Ida, for instance, Ward 2 at about 7 a.m. And the place was already packed full. People were there in their hundreds. Before 8, INEC ad hoc staff had already come. You know, same thing with Ward 2 Extension, Garrett Memorial. Ward 7, Olua Primary School. That was the place they started voting. The first place they started voting of all the polling units I visited, this morning. And of course, this is Ward 4 where I am right now, where we expect the governor to come vote. So I must say that the turnout has been really, really massive. They've defied that fear that it's going to be volatile.
Right.
So, something else, Fidel. You know that as we run towards the election, a lot of talk about what will happen. With the way things have been playing out, especially from INEC's point of view, preparing for the elections and all of that. Resident Electoral Commissioner for INEC must be a very busy man. Going with the sort of reports we're hearing outside Benin, where you are. We're hearing materials aren't arriving on time in some polling units and in some local governments. In Edo North as well as also Edo Central. Have you heard anything from INEC yet on the voting commencing early or not in certain local government areas?
No, I'm still trying to get in touch with one or two colleagues. As soon as I get feelers from that end, I'll definitely let you know.
Okay. Excellent. Great work, Fidel. We'll let you get back to action, and we'll call you back again before the broadcast ends.
All right.
Okay. Do keep safe. All right. Fidel Osegali in Benin, where the voting has commenced. Huge turnout, he says, in certain wards he's waiting at the ward where the governor and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party will be voting soon. And I guess if we get him when he's voting, we can get back live and hear what he has to say about the process. Ken Okolugbo is still here with us.
When I told you that Oredo was not having basically most of those challenges that outside Oredo they are having. I guess because Fidel has to be where the governor is going to vote. But I'm sure by the time Fidel leaves that area to other areas, he will have other stories to tell. Like, for example, Garrick, somebody just tweeted at my Twitter handle, at Kenya Kolubo. He says that they are almost halfway into voting. And you can imagine because they started early. This is 10 o'clock. They're halfway, yeah.
So
which is what it should be.
Which is what it should be, because going by what he has said, by 12, voting would have come.
Yeah, I mean, people should go and vote and get back to work.
My fear here is another thing that another of someone that has just tested me said is, they are actually now, people are not finding, their card readers are not working. So they're doing this manual. You know, this card reader thing is always. So
you heard what he said, they had to refer manual.
Yes, they were raking. INEC was raking before this, saying that if it doesn't work, you're not going to be able to vote, as if it was foolproof. So when will we get these card readers to work?
I mean, that's a question I have on my mind.
When
would
we get
we
these
ever?
card readers? Because once these card readers not working, has always given room for manipulation. Because once you resort to manual, then the whole idea of having the card readers is defeated.
So let me understand.
Because they'll tick your name, they'll look at your card, they'll tick your name on the register.
And unfortunately, I have a voter card, but my picture is dark. So whoever is going to look at that picture... So you actually believe those officials look at the face? Nobody has looked at my face. When I go monitor the election, I see that they go, when they do the manual,
they just honorable, they just take your card. Okay.
They know because they know your face, right?
Yes, they know my face. Okay, quite
so
right.
here's what I'm wondering at. You know? What is it with our card readers? I mean, they are machines. And we imported them.
Yes. And this is
and
isolated.
We had specifications of what we wanted.
Tailored to each unit in each ward,
and
each
we
of the
paid
192 wards.
For those specifications.
Yes.
There's supposed to be precision to
it's just like
in that sense.
It's just like your ATM card.
Absolutely. So, I'm trying to get what it is. Do you think we should manually produce card readers? Maybe that would help. Because we have smart IT guys here. I don't think it's rocket science.
That's exactly what we should do, because I get worried when I hear about them resorting to manual. Because if you hear that resorting to manual, you know, red already.
Yeah.
So by the time you go
at 10 a.m.
If you go and tells you that they're resorting to manual, if you get to Aghogho or you get to Asako, all those flash areas, all those areas that are flash points, you cannot be sure of their manual accreditation they're going to do there, because it follows that these are the areas of strength for the different political parties. They'll be able to manipulate.
Unfortunately. Okay, let's remind you of that we're live on YouTube. You can leave us your comments there. Also on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's know your thoughts. Twitter is at Nigeria Info FM. We'll be taking your messages. Also on WhatsApp, 08095975805. Let me head to YouTube. We have a comment here from Oludare Enrio So. Says, hopefully this goes on well with no bloodshed. We're all hoping so. Swagsy, we also see you there on YouTube. Back to Twitter. Come on, really? Each your gift? Really? Okay, I'll skip. Ogbebo on Twitter says, my joy today is that these two candidates are sons of PDP. Does it even matter right now? It says, so whoever wins will work for the mission of inclusiveness. Some days ago, all the candidates in the party signed a peace accord. And I saw pictures of them smiling, and hugging themselves.
Yes.
Looks pretty and nice. Hopefully that changes something today.
No, but I think that was very clear. I must commend the Abdul Salami-led peace committee, because there's a kind of commitment that brings. We all know you can't deny when your supporters are going violent. You have an idea of who they are.
Yeah.
Yes, you might not have instructed them, but by the time the head can also tell a lot. By the time your body language encourages violence, they'll be violent. But by the time you tell them that, look, I'm not going to come and bail you in the police station.
But you have to bail them if you tell them to deliver their word.
Eventually, you will bail them. But you tell them that, look, I'm not going to bail you.
Then they won't deliver their word.
I will allow, if they carry you, it's your business. They will now get a bit, they'll be more careful. Yes, I know sometimes you'll be like, oh, I'll come and bail you. Okay, ask yourself, all the guns have been found during electioneering processes. Have you heard of anybody that's been convicted in the history of election violence?
Talking of which, many people were arrested during the 2019 election.
They'll be put in cell. They would have found evidence against them. Before you know it, those of us that are politicians are the same people that will go and bail these people, are the same people that will go and manufacture.
So why do you people go to bail them?
That is why I'm saying that INEC is also at fault. Because if INEC can take over the prosecution without allowing... Look, why do we have the EFCC? Why do we have the ICPC?
So you think having the electoral...
If the Nigerian police force was doing his work, would we have those agencies? Would that not be we had the special fraud unit before they had the EFCC.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So they give us politicians enough room to maneuver. If INEC does not have a prosecution agency, that would actually... I was very impressed when I saw
Ladies
my
and
good friend,
gentlemen, you have a politician confessing on the show today. It says they've been given too much room.
Yes, we've been given too much room, and that's the truth. I'm happy when I saw my good friend Mike Igini, talking about a lecturer that is going to be prosecuted for election violence. This is the first time we're hearing that 2 lecturers will be charged for election violence because he pursued that case. You know, Igini was more like an activist before becoming a resident electoral commissioner. Absolutely. And so this is exactly what we're saying. But that's Igini's own case is a drop in the ocean. It's just a drop in the ocean. So when you find that all these boys eventually find their way and they are freed, they will have the impunity to continue because
let me run you through your thoughts.
Free them.
So if you're saying INEC should take on prosecution,
yes.
I mean, INEC's got 4 years to plan another election. Even with the 4 years, it's never enough.
Yes.
If they're then chasing prosecutions, when would they get anything done?
They must be a department. They have a legal department, for example.
But that's why we have the police.
You see, the police is not doing his work in that aspect.
So why don't they?
That's why I just said, if you can give me an example of one politician, you have heard that all those thugs that they arrest, they've been able to find conviction. I'll correct myself.
But you're sure to be different if INEC is handling
There'll be a difference because they will follow it. I mean, prosecution is when you follow the case religiously and diligently. You don't manufacture evidences. When the evidences are there, they are there. There's nothing you can do about it.
You know something, Kenny? I spoke with Frank Mba, the first PRO, a couple of days ago, and asked him the question about what happens, because it's something that they had argued, like what happened in some polling areas in Lagos where you had thugs invade polling centers. And then the policemen had just watched by and, allowed the thugs go in and then vandalize and, destroy the entire electoral process. And they said, look, if we stop the process, if these thugs invade this place, people won't get to vote anymore. So that's why they sat back and they see things happening, because they just have how many policemen at the polling unit? 2 policemen.
They were overwhelmed.
So they were overwhelmed, practically. So he said, look, what we are going to do on election day, I'm not going to reveal it to the media. When you see it play out on Saturday, you know it's happening.
Frank Mba is only saying this because he's isolated. Now they have enough manpower. Yeah, you understand why Frank Mba can beat his chest and say, can he say this in a general election? He can't say it now. How many policemen do we have?
Maybe it would be better. We just recruited some more. We're recruiting 10,000 more policemen.
So he's saying this guy is isolated. That's why he's beating his chest.
Okay,
if it wasn't an isolated election,
Frank
Mba wouldn't be able to say this. And again, there are some good police, there are some good cops, but there's the bad cops in Nigeria more than the good cops. Unfortunately. And so you see, this is the opportunity for them to make money. It's just one day. They know after one day, these politicians will not call me again. These stupid politicians. Because now they need me. They call my phone every now and then because they know I'm in charge of this area. Make I collect my own. That is the kind of impression that we have. Who do I care? After if it's Izeyamu that wins or Obaseki that wins, would he remember me? Are you understanding that?
Speaking of which, Izeyamu some minutes ago had voted. Right. We saw it happening. We're also monitoring. Aside our correspondent who is on ground, he cast his votes at. Please call that name for me. Ugodo.
Okay, sorry.
Ugododo, Ward 5.
Yes.
Orion. He cast his vote already.
I'm trying to see what he would have said. Most times the politicians, when they go out to vote, they Eddie, like this, they say they want to hear from their people around before they can come back and say, this is how the election has gone for us and we're satisfied with it. But it'd be interesting to hear what... I haven't signed the peace accord.
Yes, I will have
to hear what
but
they
the
will have to
agents are
say.
calling in. The agents, like I know the PDP have a situation room. They have a situation room. And I'm also aware the APC have a situation room. And the situation room is such that all the APC agents, all the PDP agents are filing in their results as the results come. Because you see, why this situation room is necessary is because INEC is not living up to expectations. So you need those result sheets, the Form E-C-8A, which is the basis on which you can file an election petition. Because that is the polling unit result. So your Form E-C-8A is very key. So those agents that have their Form E-C-8A will file them in, and before you know it, you can be able to collate the results and find out the actual votes each of your candidates did get.
Well, we're also trying to get David Anyele, who is an observer, but interestingly, he's Executive Director, Center for Citizens with Disability. Someone talked about inclusiveness, and they've also pushed the case. 29 million people with disability in this country, and there's a Disability Act that has been passed. And interestingly, they had done a report some time back, highlighting areas, for example, where you don't have the Braille. You will
not be able to vote. I was happy that INEC actually introduced that this time around.
And then also the electoral, many people don't even realize, the electoral officials at the polling units haven't been trained to, for example, understand that they need someone who understands sign language and can sign. So
and
that
they're even supposed to help for the disabled people, for them to be able to confide in them and say, this is where I am going to.
I'm sorry, if you're watching live, you see me shaking my head. It's because I'm looking at a video online. This is said to be from Oredo local government area, where, according to this report, some party agents are trying to share money. You can see people dragging themselves and the money pouring on the floor. There's one policeman in there. This is where I'm going to. One policeman amongst all of them. They could easily just step over him or just push him aside. It's just one policeman trying to say, hey, but what can he do? This video right here, it's just 18 a.m. and people are already trying to share cash, according to this video.
Well, that was what I was trying to say, that the policemen are not supposed to be armed in there, but they're supposed to have backup. And it's a shame because this policeman is supposed to call for the backup. The backup is not supposed to be far away, and that is how it is done.
Did anybody give him airtime on his phone?
And vote buying is another big problem we're going to face in this country. I will not lie to you. The two political parties are guilty. They keep a massive amount of money to buy voters in most of the elections. And that is one thing INEC must, if they truly want votes to be, because I might likely want to vote for Ize-Iyamu, but if you give me 5,000 naira, I'll go and vote for Obaseki. If Ize-Iyamu gives me 2,000 naira, if Ize-Iyamu's agent,
so we're bidding.
It is also the sincerity of the person you give money. If you give a hungry man, someone that has been owing like 200,000 for rent or 300,000 for rent, and he's one of the field agents, you give him 2 million to go and buy votes. He'll first of all pay that his rent and solve those his problems. It is a balance that he would not use to go to the
that
field.
is why last year in the general election we had them sharing sausage rolls. Maybe it's the balance.
But this point you make, Kenny. So you have 14 parties, but I dare say, the number of elections I covered many times, I see that the polling agents, the agents for the party, because it's the power of the purse. How many of them can afford to have their agents in every of those?
That's exactly what I pointed out.
And it's also the danger of the I don't like to call them smaller parties, of the newer parties. The fact that they're not able to match one, even if they are there, there's a chance that they could also be complicit.
Let me even tell you, sometimes, let me even give you a secret of what some politicians do. Sometimes they buy over these mushroom parties, and those are agents.
You're the one calling them mushroom parties now.
Sorry to say, but that's what they are. They now give them money. So those agents are actually working in sync with one of the leading parties, and you will not know. So maybe if I refuse to sign the Form E-C-8A, that one will willingly sign and come to testify.
So I wonder, when we're collecting results and we're here telling people the result, how one party gets one vote?
No, they allocate now. They'll pity you now. Since you cooperated, they'll give you 1 or 2 votes or 3 votes.
Let's go back to the phone lines. 0700 993 993 993. Nigeria would like to hear from you. It's election day in Edo State. Call us. Let's know what you think about the conversation so far. Good morning. What was that? No. Please try again if you can. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Abdul Gafar. I'm calling from Lekki.
Welcome, Abdul Gafar.
Yeah. I want to talk about PVC,
Okay.
the permanent voters card.
Okay.
I think many people don't know about this, but what really happens when maybe the card reader cannot be able to read your card sometimes is because of the PVC has an invisible chip that is inside the card, and many people don't know about that.
But it is supposed to have a chip. If it doesn't have a chip, the card reader can't read the card. I mean, it's just like your ATM card.
Yeah, well, the point I'm trying to make, you know, the PVC has a chip inside, and a visible chip that many people don't know about the chip. So if that chip got affected, maybe mistakenly you sat on the PVC, or sometimes maybe heat or something like, what do you call, magnet, where you keep your PVC. There's something that can affect the chip inside. So if the chip is affected without you knowing, so even though the card reader is okay, is working, but it cannot be able to read the chip so that it can be able to get the information that.
So that's something like saying your ATM card had been scratched on the panel.
Scratch,
Something like that.
Yes, or your SIM
understandably.
card, maybe the SIM contact has got affected. Maybe you see that your SIM is okay, but later you see inside.
Right, I get your point. I get your point. I think the basic idea, INEC doesn't want the electoral officers of the polling units to make use of the incidence forms as often as possible. So they look at the percentages at the end and say, how many people went through the card reader? If you have a percentage which is astronomically high, like we saw in some election in Anambra State some years back, then it sends a lot of tongues wagging, and there's concern that why do we deploy so many card readers and spend so much money? At the end of the day, we're using incidence forms
all over the place. And that's what a lot of people have been afraid of. One of the things people said was that, you remember Jonathan's card was not...
He was hacked.
Incidentally, he was the one that introduced card readers. He was the first casualty.
Bad woman.
And some say it was from African leaders. That's why he would have cancelled the elections. Because already he could tell that he was losing. It was
that was a very good joke, guys. We need to head up for a break. Before we go, we're coming back after the break, but let me share some good news. I'll remind you as often as I can before we leave. Nigeria Info will be 9 on Independence Day. Where's the shaker?
That's it over there.
Yeah. We're going to be 9 on Independence Day. That's October 1st. And something big is happening. For those of you on our social media handles, you probably have seen it. We're rewarding 9 extraordinary Nigerians, and they are everyday Nigerians like you and I who are doing something extraordinary. So 9 of them will get 200,000 naira each. Yay! Yeah. So you need to nominate someone around you who's doing something phenomenal. Not a politician, please. Someone.
You have ruled me out. I was already getting excited.
I've cancelled you.
A public servant. A public servant. Someone. Not a director in the public service. I beg.
No, please. Let me.
Someone in public service.
Absolutely. Maybe a policeman around you, a community leader,
a street sweeper,
someone who's doing something you are excited about. You need to download Nigeria Info mobile app right now. Go to your Play Store, download it. You'll see a message icon at the top right corner, and then you can click it and nominate. So we're going to pick people who have the greatest number of nominations. We'll pick 9 of them because we're going to be 9, and we're giving them 200,000 naira each. There are also many other gifts items to be won. So go download the app now. I'll remind you of this again before we go. Nigeria Info will be 9. I'm excited. You. Nigeria, this is Election Coverage Studio. We're heading off for a break. We're back in a moment with more. Don't go away.
Nigeria Info Election Studio. We'll be right back. This is Nigeria Info Election Studio.
It's okay. That is okay. It's okay. No, it's okay. Let me explain. It's okay. She off your mic.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info, your mic is always on. Let's talk.
All right, welcome back. It's 99.3 Nigeria Info. Your mic is always on, like ours is right here in the studio. It's election day in Edo State, and we're getting vibes. Currently, the incumbent governor is set to vote. Zero COVID-19 compliance. Zero. From what I'm seeing on screen. Are we saying the same thing?
They got face mask on, so let's say physical distancing.
No physical distancing.
Okay,
Nothing.
Distancing.
Not even journalists. I mean, I saw pressmen pressing themselves.
But have you noticed something? I've been seeing the numbers in Edo falling. I see one. Am I the only one noticing?
The numbers of?
Yes.
They're not testing enough, huh?
The same with Lagos. I mean, Lagos was the most.
No, Lagos has been testing, so we can't even indict Lagos.
If
Lagos numbers are falling, it might be quite...
They've been testing fewer numbers also.
Maybe they started testing fewer numbers. But I keep wondering how come the numbers... I thought the numbers would have been increasing in Edo with all I've been seeing.
So I did a countdown with my audience some weeks ago after the campaigns, the major political rallies. And we said if we see a spike in numbers, we gave 2 weeks. 14 days. So after the rally, because I mean there was this mammoth crowd. Let's see if there'll be a spike in COVID-19 numbers. It went down instead. So I mean, here you go. So he's set to vote. That's Governor Godwin Obaseki is warming up to cast his vote. Right now is on something that looks like a queue. I think that's a queue. Yes, it's on a queue with his mask on. But I wish there was more spacing, to reflect our current reality.
I'm always baffled. Yeah, I'm always baffled when this certain sign of a show of modesty, and then my friends say humility. When they show up at the line, at some point, electoral officer will call him. We'll call him.
We should all queue. We should all queue.
We should.
Yes, that is what is important.
Yeah, but I can tell you for sure,
Kenny,
this was not the queue.
Always queues,
but Kenny, at some point, he will be called out by the electoral officer.
No, he's going to remain on the queue.
No, here's my point. I don't think this is the queue he met when he got in here. The queue must have been longer. So
don't forget that they've been voting. That is a motor. That is his.
Exactly. People have been voting. Yeah, so
I don't think the queue would have been much because they started voting as early as about 8:30.
Okay, so but he's on the queue. I like that though, and he's getting ready to cast his vote. Let's talk about INEC ad hoc staff. So INEC announced days before the election, before today, that ad hoc staff would be insured. In fact, comprehensive company insurance. So everyone who's working with INEC for these elections will be insured against death, accident, and other hazards. This is the first time ever. Do you think this is going to encourage INEC staff, to behave properly?
I took that with a pinch of salt, because if they were going to insure them, they should have been able to tell us that they paid the premium, and they should have told us the insurance company.
I didn't see the name of the insurance company.
They were not able to name the insurance company. They were not able to tell us what premiums they have paid and the names of those ad hoc staff. Ad hoc staffs, like you call them, are just temporary staffs.
Yeah, about
20,000. So how long does the insurance cover? Does the cover for just 1 day?
Yes, for 1 day.
Of the electoral duty?
Yes.
Then that would encourage them, because what we see most times is that the ad hoc staff will start fighting for their allowance.
Right.
And they already know. Why some of them even just go on to take the job is because they know they want to be compromised. They want to make the money for that day.
Right.
They're not even looking at the allowance that INEC is going to pay them. Because if INEC is going to be honest to themselves, you should pay the ad hoc staffs at least 50% of their allowance before they go on duty, and pay them 50 when they deliver. But those ad hoc staffs just sit back and they say, okay, look, if I want to be posted to this place, I want to be posted to this place because this place is going to be where I'll make most money. This is where we have the bigger politicians. And that is the storyline of what happens mostly to these ad hoc staffs. Because a man, for example, I keep telling you, that does not have money, maybe he's an ad hoc staff, he has woken up with just 3,000 naira in his pocket, and he sees 20,000 naira. All for him to just write 1 behind 10 to make it 110. The possibility of him writing it is very high.
Right. Yeah,
and that's the absolute truth. You're not blaming him because he's been tempted. Because he now sees 20K and he knows he has like 10K debts waiting for him to pay in the evening. And he knows that when he finishes, INEC is not going to pay him immediately. He takes the risk.
Even for the last election, we were here. I mean, core members were calling. I mean, many of them
Didn't
even
get paid.
protesting because they didn't get paid the allowances. Some of them said their names were even struck out of the list. New names. We spoke with INEC. I mean, it was a huge back and forth. I would assume that they got their monies after the last election. Hopefully so.
Hopefully.
But that's exactly what I was trying to point out. Why would it take that long for you?
Why
to
do we
get,
need to hope
for
that
a
you
job
get
that
your
you
money?
did for one day and you should get your funds, and you take the risk you take, because the risk to their life is high.
It is.
It is very high. You heard of coppers that have died. You heard of polling agents that have died. You heard of polling officials who are not ordinarily staffs of INEX that have died, that have been caught up in crossfire.
And the idea behind every election cycle is so that people can learn lessons. And if lessons haven't been learned,
that's the truth.
You're talking about stories that we hope we can tell following this election. You know, Kenny, when we look at the pre-election campaign period and everything that has happened, asking Fidel, a couple of, what sort of conversations we were having. They just want to vote and get on with their lives. Sometimes people think it's a disservice when we have the campaign period happen and at the end of the day, we have a promo here. Did he have certificate or not? You don't have certificate. That's the reason why you shouldn't be talking. It's the nonsensical that we hear about on the way to the election. This is a state with 18 local government areas, population of 7-8 billion people in Edo State. And you look at a city, a state majorly farmers, and they have, small businesses here and there. And many of the issues we don't get to hear. You worked in the Delta State development area. Niger Delta is contiguous in the sense of the Niger Delta communities have many of the same issues, from Takot, Sapele, to all of the major towns across the Niger Delta. You think why we can't have those big discussions happen on the way to election? Say, for example, development is the number one issue for education that we need to face getting into office.
Well, you see, like you rightly said, basically it depends on what your leaders do. I'll give an example. When I had to serve as a commissioner, I knew that I didn't, to be very honest, I didn't have an idea I was going to be made a commissioner. My governor never told me that until I was nominated. And so for me, the only way I could pay him back was that I had to justify that confidence he had in me, you understand? Because I had no idea, no idea at all. And so by the time I got to the office, I saw that we had a budget. And I was wondering what my predecessors did. Sorry to say. We had a budget. Not only did we have a budget, we could make this budget work. And with all modesty, I was able to commission over 90 projects. It has never been done in the history of the commission where I served. And I start to be corrected because those projects are there. What I'm saying is the will of who you put there. I'm not saying I'm a saint, but all I'm trying to say is that the will to work, the will to drive. I was coming from the private sector. Right. And I couldn't imagine now because I'm used to using my own money to do things. And so now seeing government money, I was getting government alerts for salary, government alerts for allowances. I found it very strange. Do you understand where I was coming from? And I now found out that, look, people can actually work within what they are given. And the funny thing was, I had the list in terms of not emoluments, personal emoluments, but in terms of developmental projects, because what we had was that we used to share based on quantum of production. So we had the Shakiris having 29, we had the Jaws having 27, the Yorubas having 21, the Sokos 14, and I had just 9% to deal with. And I even had a colleague I was sharing that 9% with. So it is that development. Like in Edo State is rich in limestone. The amount of cement that can come from Edo State. Right. In fact, the IGR they can get from cement. Why is Dangote today the richest man? Today, Forbes have named him his number. He's still the richest man in 9 years. Where is he getting all the accolades from? It's cement production. It's a Dangote cement. That is the number one. If any other thing he's producing. So if Edo State is able to actually harness their limestone, that IGR from there and pay a percentage to the people, because of course the community where you derive it from should always get a fair share. But it can still take care of the rest of the state. Talk less of other factories that you have there. But it is the self-will to develop these areas devoid of politics. Sometimes you find some politicians who say this area didn't vote for me. They stagnate that area. Right. They purposely stagnate that area. It shouldn't be like that. When you're a politician, you have won an election, everybody becomes your area of development.
Talking about that resource, though, I took a pause when you said Edo's got limestone, but they can't take that resource because it's on the exclusive list. right now we have constitutional amendments going on. Many Nigerians are not even paying attention until we hear the amendment is done with. And then we say we don't like what they did. But the process is going on now.
That is why you see that they were clever enough to make it private, to buy into it. That's why we've had this Boa and the Dangote infighting for the Okpila cement factory. Now, the Okpila cement factory is their factory.
Whose factory?
Edo State.
Yes.
Do you understand? So even though limestone, I agree, is on the exclusive list, they are still able. The Okpila cement factory is able to exploit and pay a certain percentage to the federal government. But that's why we keep saying that we should control our mineral resources, because that's a very key point you brought. So that those exclusive lists, in fact, why are we having problems? We're saying IGR. One of the things that mineral resources is Zamfara. Why did we have bandits before now? It's because of the gold that has been found on Zamfara. That's why you're seeing the amounts of killings that are going on in Zamfara. But if it was not on the exclusive list, I think the problems we're having in Zamfara won't be there. The Zamfara people would have been able to take charge of their own problem, because they would have been the ones mining. They are the locals. They will know when foreigners come in. They will deal with foreigners, and we'll have less of the killings that are going on in those areas.
I would agree with you. Someone tagged us in a post. We're looking online now. The cable is also following this election. The cable reports results sheet missing at polling unit 2, Ward 4, Owan East Local Government. They report that the result sheet's missing, even though it has already been signed. Why is the election sheet signed before?
Owan East is another area that is not the stronghold of the ruling party. So you see, these are the areas I keep saying that we should be careful. Now, a result sheet that has been signed is missing. So you can imagine what figure they will come.
So my question here, I'm saying, if I was an event planner and this was just an event, which is a simpler way to look at elections, why would you sign an election sheet ahead of the? Voting are not
maybe
even
it
finished.
has been signed by the polling agent.
Why?
The polling officer. It's possible, but has not been signed by the agents.
Okay.
It's possible. But the funny thing is that when you go to court, they will tell you that is not enough. The fact that the agent didn't sign, it's possible that because he saw that his party was losing,
and he was angry and he walked away.
Refused to sign. So that doesn't also, nullify the result sheet. Yes.
Election Day, 99.3 Nigeria Info. This is your number one station for news in the heart of Lagos, and we're running you through what's going on in Edo State with our correspondent Fidel Sagale on ground in Edo State covering for us. We're also telling you all the details that we know, as well as looking at governance issues across Nigeria, specifically focusing today on Edo State. I'm Wemimo Adewuni. I'm here with Oboh. We should go to the phone lines.
Let's get to the phone lines. Remember, 0700 993 993. Turn off the phone completely, the device rather. Leave the phone on and let's talk.
Put off the radio.
What you have to say. Sorry about that. Faulty connection. Hello and good morning.
Chief Oboh.
Chief Christopher. Hope this doesn't go off this time.
I was talking about Kogi.
Aha, yes.
Ken, my brother, the Supreme Court confirmed Yaya Bello as the governor, right?
Yes.
Despite all the wrongdoings that happened in Kogi, the one that happened in Lagos, Okota and Aguda, I stayed in Sulere. The owner of one of the leader of the ruling party said whatever happened in Okota and Aguda is not enough for them to come to the election. Ken, is it proper? Hello, Ken.
Ken is the Resident Electoral Commission.
Is it proper?
No, of course not. That shouldn't be.
Then for Kogi and Pondo, I hear my president. He wants peaceful election, right? He said the same thing before Kogi. Why did you approve money for small businesses? Kogi, you approved 10 billion. Then Edo, you approved money for businesses. And nobody see anything wrong in that. The 30,000 police force will turn their eyes the other way. Then these thugs will have the opportunity to do whatever they want to do. But all I want to tell these thugs, take that job as an abandoned project. Although it's not proper, it's not right to collect money not doing the job. But for this thuggery area, collect the money, abandon the job. Chief Oboh.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much.
Quick one, happy birthday to President Sandra.
Yes, happy birthday, Sandra.
Yeah, I speak with her. She's in the Bahamas.
You will still come and confess yourself.
Ajay, are you Kwani?
Mbenoro winning Mbenoro.
Okay, Bene. Eh.
Mbene. Sounds good. What's Mbene, by
so
the way?
who was actually the caller?
Chris.
Okay,
It's a regular caller. Yes.
Oh, that's great. Mbene is thank you.
Oh, sounds good.
Ajay is how you greet a man in Ukwani.
Ajay.
Yes. Well, if you're an older person like me, I'm a chief, you say Abi.
Ajay. Even
you say Abi, sir.
Yeah.
But he said Ajay is okay. I still look quite young, So I
can't even see you,
You can hear more Ajay at the top of the hour where Ifeanyi and Sammy coming for music and moment. They're also Ajay people. Okay, let's hear some more. Hello and good morning. Welcome to
Hello, good morning. This is Haruna Abubakar.
Haruna, welcome.
Good morning. Yes, morning. I want to talk about the ongoing election in Edo State.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah,
your radio is on, Haruna. Why is that?
It's off.
Okay, go ahead.
Just like what we've been saying, nobody can promise anybody free and fair election. My brother and sister, the only free and fair election is with God Almighty. No human being on earth. We'll just try our best. But what we are saying, nobody score 100 over 100 easily in any exam. But let us have a very perfect system that can bring you for power, and you, as a leader, you can beat your chest anywhere in the world. Like, yes, you hardly won your election, and people hardly stood for you, and you're not going to disappoint these people. You understand? Look at Kogi State, for instance. When last year, November, we went to election, November 16. I can never forget that day. My sister, they know that we Igalas, I'm talking about the Kogi East now, were the majority of the state in terms of population, everything. Look at what they do to us. They descended on us, sent security agents to beat my people, dealt with them severely, and my brother, look at what happened. The following day, Okene has never produced that kind of result they produced. INEC accepted it. Supreme Court, also Supreme Court, they accepted it. And you think we have to have a better system. My sister, they will ring a door and tell you, let's go to court.
All right. Thank you very much,
So let me clarify. So you know how these things work. The political party that you favor, you would always think the other party would try to do something to overthrow yours. So as passionate as you are, the person on the other side of the table also feels that way about the election. He thinks you're also about to rig. You feel they're also about to rig. And that's why we should even have this interdependence when we then watch one another.
But one thing they keep saying, almost 5 callers have talked about Okene. And I spoke about it. The Okene case was a sad commentary in the history of Nigeria. And I'm happy a lot of people are talking about Okene. If nothing is done about the Okene case, that the Supreme Court has now given a blanket approval that what happened was okay, then we don't want to repent, because Okene is the worst, I think, in the history since 1960. I don't think any results have been like the Okene result. Go back and see what happened in Okene. Let's even forget the woman that died, who did not die in Okene. It was a shame. It's not something anybody should be proud of. And for the Supreme Court to have overlooked all the evidence they brought forth, they should have at least cancelled that Okene. Even if they're going to leave Bello. Yeah, they should have cancelled Okene. Was a shame. Even the governor himself knows it was a shame. It was not something that anybody can talk about.
Right. Let me take some comment from Facebook. Chimeze Dom Ndukwe says, part of the reason for the high card reader failure incident in Nigeria is due to ignorance of proper handling of the cards. No card with chips should be kept together with cell phones. I mean, it's just like going to a hotel. Your room pass, if you hold it with a phone,
it fails.
It fails. You have to go back to the reception. So that's possibly what happened. It says no card with chip should be kept together with cell phone and any kind of magnet. Your phone has a speaker made of magnets. This point must be stressed by INEC. So we need a lot more.
It's one thing to sit down in your house and type and say maybe this is what the problem is, but on the field it's a different matter entirely.
Yes.
But that's why they have spare card readers also too. So when one goes back, I've seen them rush and pick up a second one. So one of these days we have one of.
No, he's talking about the cards themselves. So maybe the cards were the ones that had.
Yeah,
issues.
So they have multiple reasons why. So sometimes they go and they brief people. This is why this has happened here. They got battery failure sometimes. Sometimes it's the like we realized the first time they used the card reader, they left the plastic seal on it and they had to strip it. So many things happen, unfortunately. So Also, Situation Room, Nigeria Society Situation Room, which is headed by Claire Mwankwo, they've got about 300 observers out there in 19 in all the local government areas in Edo State. So we've seen some reports they're pushing out also to, I see one in Esako West. Report says thermometer is not working. I guess that's for the COVID-19 protocol. Materials arrived 9 a.m. in Owan East. They go on and on. Officials were present in Esson West. Card reader not functioning well, causing lots of distraction in Orion in Ward 10. Polling unit has been mentioned. Card reader has been fixed. That was in Owan East and is functioning now. And it goes on and on. But over and over, Ken, I see they keep reporting. This was in Aghogho, where they say social distancing is not being observed, no mandatory use of face masks. Polling unit is overcrowded, but voting is going on smoothly. So somehow we're just going through, even though INEC had said this COVID-19 protocol is what they're going to work with. The Nigerian way appears that they found a way.
No, but certainly you should have known that it wasn't going to.
They were not going to send anyone back for not wearing face masks.
But why?
But it's a shame because they kept saying it and making it sound like, oh, if no face mask, no voting, no face mask. But we can see from the pictures we're even seeing, even the deputy governor, you can see how crowded his own. But one thing you must also point out is that the turnover is impressive.
I like it.
10 out.
In fact, those people have made me very proud. You know, Edo was Bendel, so we still see ourselves as one.
Or Bendel.
Yes,
Delta.
Delta.
Yeah.
So the Edo people have made me very proud. The turnout is so massive, and it becomes very difficult to rig elections with this kind of turnout. That's why the only way you can do it is this scientific result sheets not appearing and all that. So
by the way, someone tells us on Twitter, Moluabi says, Owan West Ward 4, Unit 6, the people have forcefully stopped voting till they see the missing results sheet. He says, INEC, he tags INEC and says, your people said they will be back with it. It's almost 11 a.m. and they're not back. So apparently they're looking for the results sheet.
That's why I told you that you can only rig where you're popular. Apparently, rigging cannot take place there. The people are ready to protect their votes. You see, I keep telling people, when I say they give room to politicians, and I indicted all politicians earlier, if the people stand for their rights, we won't be able to operate.
Yeah.
The power of the people is so strong, and they don't know it. They have that power. When they say power to the people, they have that, and you can see what has happened in that unit now.
It's so relieving getting a politician saying this.
With what is happening in that unit now, that result sheet will come out. There will be no result produced there. And that's exactly what we keep saying. We're not saying carry guns, but physically stand for your rights. Tell them, no, this cannot happen.
Aren't you guys, impressed that a politician is telling you the same thing we've been telling you on Nigeria Info, that the power of the people is immense.
Very strong.
Very strong.
Yes.
That you belittle yourself. Even politicians know your power, your worth. You don't know it. You just sit back and say, my ballot won't count. But it can count if you intend and insist that it does. Okay.
Yes.
We're trying to get David.
He's telling me that he's trying to get me two back. But even if we can get him for 2-3 minutes, we still can't get him. But we'll try. If we can't get him, we'll try tomorrow and see how it goes.
We cut a cake here when the disability bill was passed into law. So I'm looking for how this was implemented in this election. I hope.
Absolutely. Everyone has to get involved in the story,
Inclusive.
which is the role of the observers. Ken, very important that we see what they say in those reports, whether we've made any improvement or things
very
have gotten
important.
worse.
But the good thing is that you have EU observers.
Yeah.
We have even the United Kingdom, even the United States. They all have the observers.
They all had statements out before
the
today.
observers are going to go around and are going to see if there's been an improvement. But I hope we won't have the case of Kogi or
get back
Bayelsa.
to that. But do you pray for that? I was covering the Ghana election. I think the one in 2013, and the EU said, and Commonwealth said, we're not sending observers to Ghana. And I said, why? They said, well, we believe that democracy now has reached a point where they can begin to teach lessons to others.
We're praying that we
said,
should get to that stage.
where we don't need international observers to observe the election.
Now we should get to that. No, but to be fair, Jonathan had almost gotten us there. We've had this setback with the administration. I don't just say it for saying sake, but Buhari can only leave a legacy. It would be a shame if Buhari leaves the legacy of one of the worst elections cycles that we have had in the history of his 8-year reign. He has every opportunity to correct the wrongs that happened in 2019, especially in the Kogi Bayelsa elections. Those ones were terrible. That was a shame. Nobody will believe that kind of elections will
what would you say the president should have done? You could see me rolling my eyes and just
what
thinking.
he can do is that he will rein in on his people.
But first and
the
foremost,
two parties that were indicted in Bayelsa
yes.
and in Kogi was the APC. He could rein in on
very
them.
Quickly before we bring,
He's the leader of the party.
What about the National Assembly? They have a huge role to play. The electoral. I mean, INEC just overstepped his boundaries. Let's make this. What do they call this thing again?
One thing for them to make the laws. Who implements the laws?
Good.
The laws are implemented by the executive.
So we have the Electoral Act, which hasn't been passed yet. It's been passed, but we have
it's
the amendment,
passed.
rather. The amendment.
Oh, no, but the new amendments will come with the Constitution.
Good.
You know, to be fair, the constitutional amendments have made it easier for you not to go to election processes for more than 6 months. There have been some improvements that we have gotten in this administration. But the important aspect is the wherewithal to be able to implement those electoral laws that would have seen us have elections that we'll be proud of in Kogi and Bayelsa. Those elections were a no-no. It was a no-no.
All right, Nigeria, we would be leaving you shortly. I know it's going to be heartbreaking for some of you.
Half time flies.
It's almost 11. Yes, we're not here all day. We're here just till 11, but we're here again tomorrow.
Yes.
From 10 till noon.
To noon, yes.
Tomorrow to also bring you live updates. By then, we believe the results collation. Yes, so we run you by as the results come in. And then we talk some more about governance issues. You should keep talking to us on our social media platforms. We're on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. You find us there. You also find us on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. YouTube also Nigeria Info 99.3. Remember that Nigeria Info will be 9 on Independence Day. I feel like shouting.
Yay!
I really do feel like shouting. So Nigeria Info will clock 9 on Independence Day, October 1st, and we are rewarding 9 extraordinary Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians who are extra, who are doing amazing stuff in your community. So go ahead and nominate them. The first step you need to do is go to your Play Store and download the Nigeria Info app. Okay, you need to download it. Once you're in that app, the top right corner, you see a button, you click on it, you nominate someone. Ask other people to also nominate them. So we'll pick those who have the highest nominations. 9 of them will get 200,000 naira each. There are also fabulous prizes to be won. Exciting times.
Exciting times indeed. Look forward to that. And thank you very much again for coming. Kenny Okolugbo.
My pleasure.
Former Commissioner, Delta State Oil Producing Area Development Commission. Thank you very much for coming.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for being frank, for being a frank politician.
I hope I was.
Yeah.
Kenny has always been frank.
Yeah, I mean, if I tell you are frank, you are frank. Yeah, I like that.
All right.
So more coming up, music and more.
Yeah, music and moments with Ifeanyi and Sammy
moments
right after this.
Yeah, there's also sports.
The Premiership is back.
Premiership is back. So we have a lot coming up on the dial. I'm on social media at Wemimo Sport. I'll see you tomorrow together with Aghogho again. Till then, let's keep talking on social media at Wemimo Sport. I am Wemimo Adewuni. Say your bye-bye.
I am Aghogho Oboh. Yalla, 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 yalla.
Yo.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.